What is up, YouTube? This is Crypto Diesel here with another video. Today, I wanted to weigh in mostly on the fact that I am not freaking out about the market going up and down, and I'm not freaking out that Bitcoin is hovering at $13,000. In fact, it's been very somewhat psychologically satisfying. And I kind of just wanted to bring this up because, you know, when you search through YouTube and you see some of these related videos where you got flames coming up and a trident and like why Bitcoin's the devil and it's a big Ponzi scheme, it's all come crashing down. You know, I want to inject some more positivity, not only from the perspective of people that are deeply ingrained in cryptocurrency, but also from just a normal investment perspective. You know, I've been really kind of watching some videos on people like Warren Buffett and Tony Robbins and people that just know their stuff and they're well respected in investment analysis and giving people good advice on investing. And one of the biggest takeaways that I'm learning is that when a market crash occurs, that if you are a level-headed investor and you kind of think about it from a non-emotional perspective, and you think, wow, my portfolio is hurting, it's taking a tank right now, right? It makes you want to act in a way that you're covering, getting as much as you can because you don't know how much is going to die bomb, right? And even more so with cryptocurrencies because the volatility is so ridiculous, right? You can go from, you know, $19,000 Bitcoin to $11,000 Bitcoin in a day, and that can freak people out. And if you don't believe in it, then you will sell out. You'll buy high and sell low, and you know, you want to do the opposite, obviously. But from the perspective of both somebody who very much believes that cryptocurrency is going to be a big thing, especially in the coming couple years, but also just somebody from just a sound investment perspective, even as it relates to the stock market and that kind of thing. A crash or a retracement or a correction, however you want to label it, these things are healthy. These things are good. They bring us back to reality. In fact, I was actually really stressed watching my Litecoin, right? Because I bought Litecoin at about $50 and I got a decent amount there. And then I bought a little bit more when it was making its way up to 100. And I was like, well, you know, we'll see how it goes. And then I can't remember what day it was. It was probably like early December some point. I just woke up and Litecoin was on a freaking tear. It was hitting 150. It was hitting 185. It was hitting 230. And I was like, what is this? And then it kept going. And it hit 275 and 325. And then it topped out at like 380. And I was like, this is insanity. And it's not even because, like, yeah, it's fun, right? You're like, oh, I'm making so much money. But at the same time, you know that kind of thing is just like unhealthy, and you don't want your investment to be so radical that the mere fact of possessing it makes you just lose your mind with either, you know, excitement or complete sadness, you know, because yeah, even though I was making money in that instance, it just felt as though it was either manipulated or that there was something just going on that I wasn't picking up on. I was trying to read the news. I couldn't find any major news other than the price spike. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a weird problem to have, right? I think most people would like to have that problem, but at the end of the day, it is better when you do have sort of those slow climbs, you know, those 5% days, 10% days, which those days are crazy in stock markets, right? But 5% days, 10% days, 15% days, those are the good days that you want, man. Just the slow, steady build on these cryptocurrencies that you hold. And even just from a more broad market perspective, I was feeling like everything was getting a little bit toppy, right? Now, I can't say that I like put my money where my mouth is here because I am so of the hodl variety. I want to hold and I want to stockpile so bad that I do not want to sell off at some point thinking that I'm reading the market and then it skyrockets again and I have that much less next time, you know. So I really, almost every cryptocurrency that I have bought, I have held. I have not sold any of my cryptocurrency. The only selling that I'm doing isn't really a sell; it's an exchange for other cryptocurrencies, right? Because I think maybe the percentage gain will be higher with these kinds of investments. But everything just felt really toppy. You know, Bitcoin went from the beginning of November, it went from like 6,000 to 8,000, dropped because of the Bitcoin Cash incident, then just rocketed up to 19,000 for the rest until, December 21st or 22nd, right? And there was one day where it was literally like it went 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,000. It jumped like 5,000 in a day. And everyone's just like, what the fuck? What is going on, you know? So that just felt like it was getting really toppy. And then Ethereum had, I got in at the same time I got in on Litecoin, which was for Ethereum in early November. It was never really getting above or beyond 350, right? It was 300 to 350 or so. And, it had a nice boost to like 450. And then it had another boost late November to around like 600. And then leading up to this crash or retracement or whatever, it went up to about 800, even 850. I was like, man, these are just these are really big moves, like billions and just so many billions of dollars going into the market cap. I was about to pull a Donald Trump, billions and billions and billions of dollars into Ethereum. And so that felt really toppy. I already said Litecoin felt really toppy. Ripple had gone from 25 cents to 75 cents, worked its way up to the 90-cent mark, and it's actually still pretty much holding, right? Has good support levels at the dollar mark. But that's still just such a meteoric rise, right? Like since I got in, it literally has over tripled. It's quadrupled even. And same thing with IOTA. IOTA just had this gigantic freaking, and I don't need to go down all of the list. The fact of the matter is, most of the market follows Bitcoin. If Bitcoin has success, it is literally kind of like a trailblazer, and the wake that is created from it, often the way it works is Bitcoin will have all this success and take all the spotlight, and all the altcoins will just kind of wait in hiding until the Bitcoin run is over. And then whenever Bitcoin kind of settles in and consolidates in an area, then the altcoins are like, fuck yeah, time for me to come up on this. And so they'll have these gigantic 20%, 40%, 80% gains in a single day. And so I just felt like that had been happening since. I know that this market is volatile, and I know that it is on that there are times where you should expect parabolic increases, but for so much of it to have so many parabolic increases and in such a short time, literally from when I started, it was like, Bitcoin futures and all that started getting announced at like October 31st. I'm pretty sure that that's when it was announced. And then everything after that was just like a skyrocket upward. And, so I was feeling like it was getting toppy. I was like, if it really goes with another parabolic move, like I'm just going to be beside myself with disbelief. And so when you have all of those things kind of entering into your mindset, it just feels good to have a little bit of a correction. A correction, right? I think that the cryptocurrency market is currently, well, it's working on it. I think it was currently overvalued, right? So much of it was hype. So much of it was just rando people that are just getting interested and throwing money at it or whatever. I would be surprised if you would say that there wasn't even the slightest bit of manipulation going into the price due to the fact that it was going to go on these futures exchanges. That was actually kind of worrying me a lot. I was really feeling like, man, if you have some big whales, some people with a lot of money throwing money into it, then who's to stop them? Because it is so unregulated, who's going to stop them from really just pumping up and dumping the price as much as they really want? And I don't think that that's really happened, which is nice. But at the same time, no, like I really feel like this correction is great, and it's a perfect opportunity for, if you have been thinking about getting into cryptocurrency, think about it as a fire sale. Think about it as a Christmas JCPenney freaking 25% off everything in the store sale, because that's exactly what it is. I got some cryptos that were not so, like on a single day that I was doing some transactions, like Bitcoin was down 16%, Ethereum was down like 20%, but I was going to ones that were down like 27% or 28%, right? Because they were down worse relatively to the market trendsetters of Ethereum and Bitcoin. So I was like, well, I bet if they hold up after this retracement, this correction, I'm going to be able to get more for my Bitcoin and for my Ethereum, right? If Bitcoin and Ethereum have a certain value that goes down 20% and this goes down 27%, that means that there's a relative disproportional drop, which means that my Ethereum and Bitcoin is now more valuable than it would have been before those drops. And so, yeah, that's just a perfect opportunity to diversify your portfolio, get in a couple of things that you maybe didn't think you would want to get into, but that have a good track record and that have a different use case and that hedge your risks, fairly well. And so, yeah, just think about it as a fire sale. I mean, that's the best thing to do, is to think about it like these cryptocurrencies are literally 20 to 30% off every single one of them. Which one do I want? That's also a better time to get into Bitcoin too, right? You're not only helping to support the level so it doesn't just completely crash, but you're getting it cheaper than you would have a week ago. Much cheaper than you would have a week ago. $6,000 cheaper than you would have a week ago. So those are kind of my thoughts. And then after, I've reached a point where I'm so much into stockpiling and stuff. And I'm really into kind of like gathering certain, like I like hitting little benchmarks, right? Like when I got to 15 Litecoin, I'm like, cool, I'll sit there and I'll wait on that. Or, or like I'll get 5 Ethereum, or I'll get, this much Bitcoin, or this much, I'll get 1,000 of this random coin, because I think maybe that'll do good. I like those big round numbers because psychologically it's kind of just satisfying to be like, oh, I have a stockpile of this handful of this coin. And it also just makes it easier when I'm on my Blockfolio app, kind of just looking at the trends, doing the multiplication and stuff to try and understand how much I have actual equity I have invested in some of these different things. Yeah, just hold on, man. After you get it from a fire sale like that, just hold on. Just speculate for like 3 or 4 months, because the cryptocurrency market is so fast acting that, yeah, it'll retrace and correct. Maybe even for it could do this for a month. Who knows? But whenever it breaks out of that, it's gonna. And instead of starting from a $6,000 level, it's going to start from or Bitcoin at least. Instead of starting from the $6,000 level when it was skyrocketing, now it's starting from a $13,000 level when it's skyrocketing, and all the others with it as well. So that's kind of where I'm at. Don't be freaking out by these corrections. It is super healthy. Both psychologically, it keeps us grounded, but it also is just good for the market so that it can correct its valuations, and that way going up, you can know that it's not just purely hype, that it's people rebuying in and really wanting the fair market value of these items. So that's where I stand. Keep firm, hodl on, and y'all have a good Christmas, guys. Take care.